Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We are coming from my living room today. I decided to put on a special channel for us. I've gotten out more of my Christmas. It's just been kind of a slow go for us as we are empty nesters. It's a little strange, a little weird this year to be putting out stuff without my children here, but that's what happens when they grow up, right? So usually I am in town this day of the week and I'm doing my part-time job, but we got a little bit of snow this morning. So I decided to stay home and I'm gonna take these off for a minute. I baked us some pumpkin cookies with some homemade frosting and I thought that I would share them with you. I'm gonna set them right here for you. When you're ready, go ahead and munch down. I also got myself a fresh cup of coffee. Jesus and coffee for me just go hand in hand. I feel for some reason more grounded and more capable to understand his word when I have a cup of coffee or a cup of hot cocoa. Not usually tea. I like tea, but it doesn't really seem to work for me. But the fact that I'm lactose intolerant, and I'm sure many of you are, I also can't have flavored creamer. But I have to share a secret that I discovered in my pantry. I had bought to put on top of ice cream, McCormick's hot cocoa, these sugar sprinkles, okay? I don't know if you can hear. Well, one day I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind having some hot cocoa flavored coffee instead of just milk in mine. And it is oh so yummy. So I wanted to share that little tidbit in case you have some in your cupboard or you're at the store. Feel free to stop by the spice aisle and grab some McCormick's. Okay, so it is Proverbs 8 today. So in Proverbs 8, we are not going to be in the prostitute, the sinful stuff that we've been in, the real heavy kind of gut punch stuff, okay? This one's going to be a little bit lighter. And Lady Wisdom is going to be telling us once again who she is in detail. So we got introduced to her here and there of that we need to listen to her, we need to look to her, all that kind of stuff, right? And that she's always there calling for you to get your attention. In this one, she actually solidifies her identity and when she existed. And we will see that she claims that she was there in the beginning. She was there and it was with her and through her that creation was happening. So she really sets the tone for who she is and why we can listen and believe in everything that she speaks to us. No hidden agendas other than pure love. Okay, so before we begin, we will do our usual prayer and thanksgiving to God. And if you have any prayers, you want to put them in the comments. I mean, I'm happy to pray for you. I would love to pray for you. Anything you want to say, anything you want to ask, I'm going to pray for you. Okay, so anything that's on your heart, just go ahead and put in the comments below. But let's go ahead and say our prayer and give our thanks, and then we can begin. Dear Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for the snow. This morning, as I was outside, Lord, and I was up early because you're always on my mind, and I've become quite the morning person here, which is not like me. I get to experience the rabbits that are here in the morning. They're eating the leftover bird seed from the night prior, and then I get to witness all the animals and the birds and the squirrels that come in and they sit on my porch and they wait for me to come and feed them. And Lord, I love that they count on me, and I absolutely love watching them eat and share and fly around, and it's like a little sanctuary, and it reminds me of you. It reminds me of how much I count on you, and I look forward to seeing you and knowing that you're there to feed me when I'm hungry. God, I ask that everybody feels that in their hearts and in their minds today, and that their ears be open to your word, and that they know Jesus is by their side every step that they take today. In your son's name, amen. Okay, we're going to do the King James Version today. I actually got You can see my name is on here. This is my King James Bible that I received when I was a young child at church. It was dedicated to me. I'll even show you the inside. I'm going to kind of bear my age a little bit here, but that's okay. So just a little show, and that's all you're going to get. I'm not going to tell you how old I am when I got this, but old enough, obviously, to be an empty nester. So with this beautiful passage, I chose the King James because after reading my NIV, my Christian Standard, and my NASB, I saw that it really stayed in line as far as the verbiage with the other translations that you might be following in. And why not do something different today, as it does sound quite beautiful in the King James. So let's begin. Proverbs 8. Does not wisdom call? Does not understanding raise her voice? No, that's Lady Wisdom talking. She's talking to everybody in town right now. And verse 2 says, on the heights beside the way, in the paths she takes her stand, beside the gates in front of the town, at the entrance of the portals she cries aloud. To you, O men, I call, and my cry is on the sons of men. O simple ones, learn prudence. O foolish men, pay attention. Hear, for I will speak noble things, and from my lips will come what is right. For my mouth will utter truth. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips. Now, we've heard this word abomination before a couple times in the Bible, especially in Revelation. Excuse me. She is also, just so you know, I want your mind to think about, why is Lady Wisdom talking to us, and why do I care what she has to say? Okay, kind of keep that in mind, because she's going to answer that for you here towards the end. So verse 8 says, all the words of my mouth are righteous. There is nothing twisted or crooked in them. They are all straight to him who understands, and right to those who find knowledge. Take my instruction instead of silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with her. So she's really letting you know that she is way more than anything you could ever find here on this earth. I, wisdom, dwell in prudence, and I find knowledge and discretion. The fear of the Lord is hatred of evil, pride and arrogance, and the way of evil, and perverted speech I hate. I have counsel and sound wisdom. I have insight. I have strength. By me kings reign, and rulers decree what is just. By me princes rule, and nobles govern the earth. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently find me. Riches and honor are with me, enduring health and prosperity. My fruit is better than gold, even fine gold, and my yield than choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, in the paths of justice, endowing with wealth those who love me, and filling their treasuries. So this is the part where we now get to answer that question of, what do I care what wisdom says? And on whose authority does she get to say that she's truth? Okay, so all the things that she's just claimed about herself, she is now going to let you know why you can trust her. Verse 22, the Lord created me at the beginning of his work, the first of his acts of old. So what would be the first of his acts? Genesis 1. That's right. Ages ago, I was set up at the first, before the beginning of the earth. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs abounding with water, before the mountains had been shaped, before the hills, I was brought forth. Before he had made the earth with its fields, or the first of the dust of the world. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he drew a circle on the face of the deep, when he made firm the skies above, when he established the fountains of the deep, when he assigned to the sea its limit, so that the waters might not transgress his command, when he marked out the foundations of the earth, then I was beside him, like a master workman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always, rejoicing in his inhabited world, and delighting in the sons of men. Wow. If you did not know and have not read this, that is absolutely astonishing. She completely tells us all the things that she witnessed, and it is the exact correlation of Genesis, of the creation of the world and man. So can you see that as the answer for her telling you, you can count on me, you can trust me, you can read my word, and you can know I'm the one that is giving kings counsel. They're listening to my words. If we move on to verse 32, then we jump out of that section and we jump back into, I would assume Solomon talking to the group of people in front of him. And it says, "And now, my sons, listen to me. Happy are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not neglect it. Happy is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting beside the doors." Excuse me. This is Lady Wisdom still talking. Now it's personal. "For he who finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord, but he who misses me injures himself. All who hate me love death." I am going to take you over to some of my notes. I hope that you have taken some notes. If you circled verses 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26, you could have put a note there that talks about that God created Lady Wisdom as the first of his works, which is the works of the creation days. And when I was thinking about that, I started taking a note, and in my head, because I don't know how many of you that are listening have some ADHD where we just kind of do like this squirrel. And sometimes our mind can go down a rabbit hole, but I was just sitting there thinking, and one of the things that I like to do, especially when I'm in Sunday school, is when I'm teaching the kids, is I will say to them, close your eyes, and I want you to listen. And I start going through what they could be experiencing while, let's say that they were in that time. It could be in the story of Moses. It could be Abraham. It doesn't matter. I walk them through the sounds of the hoof prints of the camels. I walk them through the feel of the heat of the dry wind and sun from the desert on their arms, and their hair blowing, and the sound of the wind, and maybe the smells that are coming from down the way of someone that is selling spices and oils, different things like that to kind of get them into it. And so my brain was doing that here with this section. And I was just thinking, wow, she saw it all happen. She saw it all happen. I didn't get to see it happen, but she got to see it happen. This one right here. And I was like, she would be the one you could go seek and trust. You can trust everything that she says. She was there in the beginning. She was witness, and she sat in awe. And it even says that she was his delight. And she was rejoicing before him always. Because of what he was doing. She was in awe of everything. And it would leave such an impression that it's just her identity now. That's I think key. If you think about it that way, that is key for a Christian, okay? If we truly are seeking Jesus, and we are truly wanting our hearts to change, even when we mess up every hour of every day, it does not matter. The fact that we are continually and intentionally seeking Jesus every time that we mess up and don't mess up, that's the key. I mean, just think about that for yourself. You know, that should be enough to change you. And know that he's like, hey, I love your mess ups because it gives you more chances to learn more about me. So don't ever think that God's letting you mess up as somehow he's like laughing at you. That's Satan talking in your ear. So you put those little earmuffs on and you just, that say no Satan on them, and don't listen. But God, he enjoys you almost messing up, I think, because if you are diligently seeking him, then you are comfortable in those messes going, what did I miss? What does God say? Let's go remind myself of how he sees me so that I can give myself some grace, forgive myself, and know how to walk forward in this one. And then I can kind of chuck that up, and it's another lesson I've learned and another way I can share and be more sympathetic to other people. I mean, the more that we experience, the more people we get to connect with. If you haven't experienced much in your life, I'm going to tell you, you can't connect with very many people. So how are you supposed to share the gospel? I have experienced way more in less than 50 years than most people have that I know of around me. And it has not stopped me. All it has done is actually made me stronger and more aggressive towards truth. A lot of people, if you are watching this and you know me, you have come to understand that I'm kind of a black and white person. There's a lot of gray people that have been around me, and that gray area has caused me a tremendous amount of pain. I have experienced people in my life that had committed suicide. I have experienced being robbed. I have gone through massive traumatic counseling sessions. I have been on and off medication, and it's been a long road. And in the meantime, I also sought the Lord, and my prayer was answered on my birthday in 2008. And I received an email from a college I had never, ever heard of before. And I immediately was signed up for getting a bachelor's in biblical studies with a minor in Christian counseling. And I knew that I was going to go in debt and that I would have to pay all this money back, knowing that this degree I was getting was not to get me a job. It was to get me better in with people, to bring more people home to Christ. That's always been my goal. That is part of my identity. It's part of my purpose. I have welcomed every bad thing that has happened to me. I would rather have it not have affected me mentally so bad. But if it hadn't have, there are so many that I wouldn't be able to connect with in the past and today. So I absolutely know God is right in everything that he does. There's always a reason. Anyways, I rambled on again. I do apologize. I tend to do that, but there's a little bit about me that you probably didn't know. So just take heart that what you read in Proverbs, when you sit down and really think about it, you can really just let your imagination run wild and just think, wow, I had absolutely no idea that God could give me this much insight and blessing and favor just from reading his word. If you don't have wisdom, you cannot combat things that are coming your way fast enough. You cannot stop them soon enough. You have to have wisdom. Let me see here. Let's go to the last two verses. So verse 35, I'm going to read from, I think I'm in the NIV. Okay. It says, for those who find me find life and receive favor from the Lord. So this right here, if you take notes, I want you to write down blessing and favor next to that one. Because the one right below it, verse 36, it says, but for those who fail to find me harm themselves. Part 1. Part 2 was all who hate me love death. Amen to that, sister. Amen. I want you to put next to that pain and suffering. So you will see if this, then this. You find me, you get life, you get favor. If you don't find me, you get harm for yourself, and then you love death. You die. So pain and suffering. You get blessing and favor versus pain and suffering. I think that was the key thing for me when it came to this chapter particularly. If there was one verse that I did I liked them all, but those last two lines really hit home for me. And just because like I said, I'm a black and white person, and that's very black and white. It is either left or it is right. Now, I love The Wizard of Oz, and I have seen Wicked Part 1 and 2. I don't care what you think about that. I absolutely enjoyed watching Wicked. I like musicals, and I love fantasy, and I like creative people. And this was such a great creative thing. But in The Wizard of Oz, I will get back to the subject, the Scarecrow. I loved the Scarecrow. But the thing that bothered me about him was that, I'm going to have one of the cookies. I don't know if you've had yours yet. So one of the things about him is that he talks about how some people go both ways. So tell me, is that possible? For me, my brain just kind of went crazy on that. So I'm a very black and white person, so I really, really enjoyed those last two verses. Now, if you've got a favorite, I would love to know what yours is. If you want to tell me why, that's great. And if not, that's fine too. So tomorrow, hopefully I'm not too hyped up on coffee for you. We might be coming back here in my living room again. Or if it's sun shining tomorrow, which I don't think it's going to call for that, I might go into town, and we have our elk viewing, and they were sunning themselves yesterday in the sunshine. If I'd had time, I would have stopped and done my lesson from there. They were absolutely breathtaking. So that's it for today. I want to thank everybody for joining me and for taking these last 20 some minutes with me. And I just encourage you to express yourself, find your truth, and keep speaking it, and stay strong. Okay? All right. We'll see you guys next time.